Guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Precision Podcast today. I am super excited about our guest today. I have Kevin from SETS Hybrid Training here in Murfreesboro. I am very partial to SETS. This is my home gym, and I absolutely love everything about SETS. So I'm super excited to have Kevin join us today and share a little bit more about what SETS is, how it can be a great opportunity for us to get into movement post-injury, and share with us all of the exciting things that they offer at SETS. So Kevin, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you just introduce yourself and kind of give us a quick rundown of what SETS is and kind of how you got yourself into opening SETS here in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. But again, my name is Kevin. I'm 29. I'm actually from New Jersey. I've been down here in Murfreesboro for about 2.5 years now. Me and my wife moved down here in 2022, but in the fall. But I've been with SETS, working for SETS since 2019. At this time, when I started with SETS, we're not a franchise yet. We only had 2 gyms that were about 15 miles from one another. And then when I began working at SETS, it was when we opened our 3rd gym. And pretty much, SETS it's the best way I describe it. It's functional interval training. There's a lot of similar styles of fitness out there. But overall, it's just a good mix of strength and cardio. It's a good way to train. It's high intensity, but at the same time, you can kind of take it at your speed always. I always like to describe it kind of like personal training in a group setting. And when I was in New Jersey, just 2019, I started working for SETS. We opened our 3rd gym. I was just a part-time coach, and then just working. Actually, at the time, I was bartending too. So this is like post-college. About a year and a half after I graduated, and I was just kind of like figuring out what I wanted to do. I tried a bunch of different things. Ended up just bartending over the summer. SETS I started in September of 2019. We eventually, as I was coaching, we eventually had to shut down for COVID. And then with that, it was March 2020, we started to do like Zoom workouts and stuff. So that was kind of an opportunity for me to, I stopped bartending, the bar was closed. But it was an opportunity for me to kind of step further into SETS. And with these Zoom workouts, I kind of led that. And we were doing it for, again, at the time, 3 gyms. So this is about 750 to, 1,000 people that were members. Obviously, we had people cancel and stuff, but I was in charge of the Zoom workouts, and we would literally try to just run our session exactly how we would in person. I would set up a computer like this, stack a couple plyo boxes on top of each other, and just do our best to make people feel normal. But then when we reopened in about August 2020, a few months later, that's when I really started to like dive into SETS, and I took over our headquarters, our first gym. And from that point, for the next 2 years, ran it from top to bottom and just kind of learned the ins and outs of the business. Obviously, by then, I had a year of coaching under my belt, also Zoom coaching, which is completely different than in person, but it also helped me grow as a coach because I was able to, well, not so much able to, I kind of had to verbalize certain things a little bit more, you know what I mean, and coaching cues. So that helped me grow as a coach, and I kind of felt a lot more confident as a coach, and it allowed me to focus on the operation side of things. So I pretty much just, I learned it from there, spent the next 2 years just, honing in my skills on that stuff, and decided to, I wanted to open my own gym. And then we ended up down here with my wife's parents living down here. We had a couple different spots on the map. I went to school in Florida, so we were looking there, but ultimately we decided to come down to Tennessee, and that's how we got here.
Nice. So I know, talk to us just a little bit about the history of SETS Murfreesboro. Tell us kind of when you opened and kind of what that process was like. From, dropping into this new area, you're from New Jersey, you don't have that many contacts down here. How was it opening up SETS, and kind of starting from ground zero here in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a challenge. By this point, we had 4 gyms in New Jersey, so we were still growing there. And when I was, set out that goal to open my own gym, I don't want to say I was the reason that we franchised, but when, me and, the CEO of SETS, we had a conversation about where I wanted to be and where I wanted to get to. That kind of, I think, got the wheels turning a little bit on the franchise model. So, I was the first out-of-state gym, out-of-state SETS. Now we have 3 of them, one in Tampa, Florida, one in Pennsylvania, and then Murfreesboro, Tennessee. But For the most part, coming down here, I knew it was going to be, challenging. We had no brand awareness, but I definitely believed in sets and what we do, and myself, and I was confident in my abilities to replicate what we had in New Jersey, and pretty much. Again, we had family down here, so we would take some trips, and I began to look, and I was originally looking in Franklin, Cool Springs area. That's where they live, and yeah, we just I didn't never really found like a perfect spot, so we just expanded our search, found a spot in Murfreesboro. It was a brand new building. The side next to us is still completely vacant. It's a shell. There's gravel floor. So that's how I came into this. It was actually one building where I had to build like the demising wall. So the process of getting it built out and all of that was definitely, quite a headache. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of hoops to jump through, but and it took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but you still have the same end result. And then once that was all done, we did a pre-sale. With the pre-sale, we ended up opening up with about 115 members, which was, I was really happy about, especially again, nobody knowing what SETS was. And then yeah, from there, once we opened up, it was just kind of a new challenge. Again, I knew how to run the gym, but I had to learn how to run a business. And it just takes a lot of time, and I put a lot of hours into the gym, coaching, cleaning it for probably a year and a half. I did everything from sales to obviously coaching to clean the toilets. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a grind, but that's how it's going to be when you start a business. And I was like, I was ready to do that. I accepted it, and honestly, it was definitely gratifying. Seeing everything that you've like put your work into come to fruition. Seeing the gym packed. Sometimes even still, I'll take a second and just kind of sit there and enjoy like that feeling of kind of picturing the gym, what it was with the dirt floor wide open to now a fully built gym packed with 28 people. So it's definitely a journey, and it's still going. We're still trying to grow, and always trying to advance what we do, and find different ways to challenge people, different ways to engage our members. But
Yeah.
ultimately, that's pretty much the gist of kind of where I started and kind of where we're at now.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how, obviously SETS is a group fitness gym, and there are lots of different kinds of group fitness gyms. I think SETS is very unique, and I really love the way that you guys run the gym and how the workouts are. But can you kind of tell someone who maybe doesn't know what SETS is, has never stepped foot in the gym, how SETS is different from some of these other group fitness studios that we have in the area?
Yeah. So I mean, I think like you can get a similar result, from a lot of gyms. You know what I mean? You can replicate what we do in your garage, if you have access to that equipment. So, anybody can kind of set up that equipment and find or program workouts. But I think what separates SETS, and other gyms have great community too, but I think what separates SETS is our community. Um, and I'm lucky to have great members. I can't take all the credit for building the community that we have. It's not just one person. I'm also not here all the time. The beginning, like I said, I was coaching 5 or 6 days a week, but I still wasn't coaching every class. So even now, I'm still not here, and I would say the community aspect of it really really separates us from some other gyms, maybe. Um, on top of that, our programming, I believe, is pretty sound. We have a lot of different equipment. I could, the list. I mean, you obviously but the list of equipment that we have, and then what we can do with that equipment is really endless, and we're constantly, expanding our repertoire of equipment and exercises, and it really is endless. You can get as creative as you want. Our formats are endless. We use like a ton of different formats. So between the exercises, the equipment, the formats, as the workouts are never the same. So I think that's another big thing that separates us from other gyms. Everything is constantly changing. The workouts are dynamic, and overall, like I know, again, you can kind of scale any workout, but we really make it a point to make everybody feel, comfortable, challenged, and part of that community. But scaling workouts is definitely a key to what we do. Whereas we can have a 16-year-old who's never worked out before working out with a 30-year-old who's been working out for 15 years with a 65-year-old who maybe has worked out in the past, but this is new to them. Maybe they have some limitations as far as a hip replacement or knee replacement, or we just need to modify because they don't want to be doing jumps and things like that. So that's a really big part of what we do, and why it definitely it adds to our success. As far as just making it, anybody can do these workouts one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely. Being honest, have a medical background in physical therapy. I've worked out in many different settings. And I'm very picky about what I want in a gym, and to feel confident sending a patient, who maybe has just recovered from an ACL tear or a hip replacement or whatever they might be, recovering from. I feel very confident sending my patients to you guys, knowing that you guys have such great ability to scale. And I think that speaks really to the caliber of the trainers that you guys have. Can you talk a little bit about, what goes into hiring a trainer for you guys? You have amazing trainers who really can help see if a client is struggling with an exercise, and can really cue them well, and either modify that exercise, or in some cases, like I know myself, sometimes I need that little extra push to go a little heavier, or to try a more advanced version of a movement. Can you talk about how you train your trainers to do that, and how you have just really set apart and have the top-notch trainers? At least in my opinion, I think you guys have amazing trainers. Talk a little bit about what goes into finding a trainer, and what makes SETS trainers unique compared to some other gyms.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I'll say it. I kind of got a little bit lucky with the the staff that I have. Again, coming down here, not knowing anybody, I knew that was going to be a challenge, was to find like good people, good trainers, and people that fit the bill as far as SETS goes. So the one person I did know is Coach Joseph. So him and I went to college together, and then just out of the blue, I seen that he had posted on Instagram that he moved to Tennessee, and at this point we had already had everything rolling, and I was coming down there. The gym was going to be in Murfreesboro, and I just asked him, hey, what part of Tennessee did you move to? And he said Murfreesboro. So it was kind of just like a freak thing. So. He was actually he was working for a supplement company, but he was trying to start to get into fitness a little bit. That was kind of where his mind was at. So again, him just living in Murfreesboro, and then also him wanting to get into the fitness realm was just like, kind of like a meant to be thing. But yeah, so I've known him for like over 10 years, and he was definitely obviously like the first person that I was gonna hire and bring on. I did have another coach, Rachel. She was awesome. She moved a little bit too far away, but that was also kind of a lucky thing. I had interviewed one coach, and it wasn't going to work out with him, but he had referred me to Rachel, and then that all fell into place. So that's how we started, just the three of us. And again, at that point, I was coaching a lot more than I do now. Our grand opening, Coach Tony walked in, and Coach Tony, but he walked into the grand opening, and it was just kind of like, hey, what is this place? And I swear I thought he was a spy. Again, Coach Tony, but Coach Tony is very fit. And I was like, this guy is coming from another gym for sure, just to check us out and report back. But he ended up just signing up as a member. He coached in Connecticut, where he's from, and it was a gym relatively similar, but he had experience, through coaching, and then also personal experience, very knowledgeable with that. So the time, I wasn't ready to hire him at that point. It was April, but by June of that year, so just a couple months later, I was ready to bring him on. And then our last coach, most recent coach, well, he's been with us for like a year now, but Coach William, actually was referred to him by my barber, and he just knew him from another gym. And I just brought him in, and my process for it is obviously like a little interview and stuff like that, but I really like to see them interact on the floor. So I kind of will give them like almost like a stage, like a chef, you know what I mean? And I'll just kind of see how they are with people, and obviously like training them and everything like that. I have a lot of experience with coaching. I mean, I've personally over the last 5.5 years probably coached close to like 10,000 sets classes. So that's a ton of people that I've interacted with, and a lot of different workouts and a lot of different injuries I've seen, and modifications that I've had to make, and all of that. So that helps me pass that on to my coaches. But again, ultimately, like I never really had to look too hard for my coaches. One way or the other, they've kind of come to me, which I think is, again, I think it's like a meant to be thing. Everything happens for a reason and all of that. So that's kind of how I found all of them. And then as far as getting to them to the point where we're all on the same page with coaching and making modifications and being personable and all of that, it just comes with I think my experience, and then passing that along to them, teaching them learning, and then them gaining experience too. Obviously, I know I was a different coach from day one to a year, and even 5.5 years. So I think that just kind of comes as you keep going, and it's just a matter of being intentional with them, and staying on top of them, and making sure that they're growing and constantly trying to hone their skills as far as like a coach. And it's endless. I mean, there's always so much to learn. I'm constantly learning. If somebody comes into me, again, you're in the medical field, I'm not. But if somebody comes to me with not so much an injury. Injuries are a little bit more simple, but let's say like a medical condition, and I've never heard of it. The first thing I do is start to research that medical condition, and then like the implications that exercise has on it, any limitations that there would be, and then from there, now the next person that comes in with that, even that person, I learn it for that person, but then the next time it happens, I'm a little bit more versed with that. So I encourage all my coaches to do the same thing, and that just helps us again, make every workout work for any person, and any injuries, anything like that.
Definitely. One thing that I hear a lot from people is, especially patients that I've had who maybe they got hurt while working out, or maybe they got hurt while they're getting back into working out for the first time in a long time, is that, going into a group training setting, or even just going into a gym, where they're working out independently, can be very intimidating. How do you guys help create a inclusive environment to support those people who may be entering the gym for the first time and may be really nervous and really hesitant, especially about entering that group fitness setting?
Definitely. That's certainly like a fair point. You know what I mean? Even, I think no matter your fitness level, going, or even if it's not fitness, just going into any group, right? Like where, you might feel like an outsider at first, you're just unfamiliar with, in this case though, unfamiliar with the workout, the facility, the people. So all that is definitely can feel intimidating. And I hear that all the time. I think the main thing is to just, kind of just know that you can do it's your workout, right? It's your time, it's your workout. And just know that you're there for yourself at the end of the day. You're going to meet people, and our goal is to make you feel part of that community. But initially, you kind of just have to kind of just be open-minded, I would say, and accept that like this is a new thing. There's going to be a learning curve, but obviously it's our job as well to like kind of break that barrier down. Some things I always tell people is just kind of like take it slow. Don't worry about like have like a long-term mindset, right? Like just take it slow. I always tell everybody like first day, even like through like the first week, like just take it like 50%, right? Like just focus on staying moving. You don't have to lift a ton of weight. You don't have to go super fast, or push the intensity too much. Just kind of focus on continually moving, getting a grasp on our format, our exercises. Also, what we do a lot, I mean, how our workouts are designed. You're never really like working out individually. Even if it's like an individual workout, you're at a group with 4 people at least. So with that obviously helps us kind of just, you're part of a group of 4 within the main group. So that helps us kind of break down some of those barriers, introductions. I always like to use people's names. So if I'm, if it's, you and Joe, I would just say like, your first day, if I'm explaining something, rather than saying him or them, I always try to like use the name, and then maybe by the next zone you might introduce each other or introduce yourselves to each other. We do a lot of partner workouts where that kind of forces that interaction. I know not everybody's a huge fan of partner workouts. Most partner workouts that we do, you're still doing your own thing. You might just be kind of alternating with the person. So that kind of forces again that interaction with others. And again, it comes down to just having like great people. I think it's probably like a domino effect. When you have that new person and you can accommodate them, make them feel comfortable, and try to like immediately bring them into the community, that trickles down the line. So when that new person has now been with you for a few months and you have another new person, you know what I mean? It kind of helps you bring them in. And also, I think at the end of the day, like as we're here for a purpose. Our purpose is fitness. Obviously, everybody has different reasons for working out, mental health. Just being healthy, trying to lose weight, gain muscle, whatever. But we're here for that purpose, one way or the other. But at the same time, like I feel like we try not to take it too serious. You know what I mean? When we're on the floor and eyes are on us, we try to make some jokes and have some fun and get people laughing. And obviously that always like breaks down the barrier too. So, I think it's just, yeah, just being personable, having coaches be personable, members be personable. I think that kind of breaks down that intimidation, feel. And hopefully by the end of the workout, most people, and I think they do, but most people probably feel a little bit more comfortable than they did the first time. And then constant encouragement too. A lot of people, oh, I'm not going, not doing well enough, or they might be thinking that in their head, but again, it's not going to happen on day one or week one or your first month. So it's a long-term mindset for that.
Definitely. I mean, you guys do such a good job of fostering an awesome community. I know we've touched on this a lot, but one of the other things that I love is that, you guys encourage us to team up for things outside of the gym together. So I know this weekend there's several of us running the Special Kids race. I know in April there's a big chunk of us training for High Rocks. That is another thing that I love about the community at SETS. It's more than just the 50 to 60 minutes a day that you're in the gym. It's that push to get involved with each other outside of the gym, which I think is just huge in creating a supportive environment. And that's what keeps us all motivated long term, is that we don't just go to SETS to get our workout in every day. We go to SETS to get our community, and that keeps us accountable. Can you talk about some other ways that you kind of help members stay consistent and help us stay accountable? I know we're all pushing towards getting that 100, 200, 500 visits. But what other ways are you keeping us consistent and keeping us accountable with our workouts and staying in the community mindset that you guys have created at SETS?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely like you mentioned, like in gym challenges, outside, gym challenges that are outside of the gym. Those just, they'll give you something to train for. Again, you might have goals, whatever those might be, personal goals. But there's those challenges, that we throw at you guys, again, whether they're outside of the gym, like the Special Kids race or High Rocks, or inside of the gym, like our March Madness that we're doing starting this weekend, or the Murph is coming up. I know a lot of gyms will do their Murph, but those kind of, again, they just give you something to train for and they keep you on track. And also, it's great to challenge yourself. You know what I mean? You are training however many days a week. It's good to kind of test that training every once in a while. Also, like you mentioned, the classic milestones, those definitely, people like to shoot for those. And we try to, it's definitely a big deal. Some people might not take it as serious, but it's definitely a big deal when you have 100, sessions under your belt, or 250 or 500. And, obviously that number keeps going and going. But then, outside of those, we'll do like member check-ins, whether that's in person. I mean, again, our coaches, we do care about our clients for sure. You know what I mean? And I think the more you care as a coach, the easier it makes your job. If you kind of just show up to work, it's just, you're just like a robot. You're just not that like the word trainer is not bad, but that's why we use the word coach. When you think trainer, sometimes it's like again, like just like a robot. You're just kind of like telling and showing and timing, right? So as a coach, if you ever played sports when you're younger or whatever, you have a coach that really cares about your growth and the outcome. So we try to, really care and show that. And, whether it's in class, if somebody has an injury and we see them the following week, we try to check in with that, see how that injury is doing. If we don't see members for a little while, every month we'll pull a report that kind of shows us who hasn't been in a bit. And we'll send a quick text, like that's it, just quick text, like, hey, we're thinking about you guys, where you at, anything going on. And you'll hear everything from, a list of excuses or, something going on in their personal life, an injury, busy, whatever the case may be. But the goal is to get them back in. I think that helps people stay accountable. And I know they appreciate that when they get that message. They feel like they're missed, which they are, you know what I mean? But it shows that, we want to see them in here, and, we do care about their progress. And it's definitely like fitness, everybody goes through ebbs and flows. So it's totally normal to like take a couple weeks off and stuff. But, the longer you go, the harder it is to get back. So that's another main thing that we want. We don't want you to cross that threshold where now it's been 2 months and it's harder to come back when you just, for the first, 3 months, you were just doing great, coming 4 or 5 days a week, and now you take 3 months off, and all of a sudden you kind of feel like, physically and mentally you're back to where you started. So we want to avoid that and, keep you progressing forward.
Yeah. And, I can speak from experience, like, everything that you're saying with checking in on members, like you're not just talking the talk right now, that is actually put into practice. I know myself, about a month after I started coming to the gym, I suffered an injury outside of the gym. And I had every trainer checking in on me, every workout, making sure I was okay. Still to this day, I have a couple of the trainers who know that I've, been struggling. Hey, how's your ankle? How are you doing with this? And, I think that I've not just heard them do that for me, I've heard them do that for so many other members. And that personal investment that I think all of your coaches put into caring about the members is really what sets apart. It is truly a community feel while really applying awesome principles of fitness. One of the things that I love that you guys do is, even though every workout looks different every day so that it doesn't get boring and redundant, you still really focus on the basic principles of, overload over time, and working the basic fundamental movements that really give us that foundational strength. And I think that is so important and something that I definitely look for as a medical provider when recommending, certain gyms to my patients. And so I really appreciate from the community aspect what you guys do for us, and also from the fitness aspect what you guys do to help us stay healthy and keep pushing us towards our goals. Is there any like misconceptions or anything else that you kind of want to let our audience know about SETS that we might not have touched on already?
I would say, like, yes, some misconceptions. I feel like, just with like, your functional gyms or, functional fitness in general, hybrid training is, that you can't get stronger or build muscle, which I definitely think is false. I mean, I'll say, like, if your goal is strictly to build muscle and be a bodybuilder, you should probably be in, a big box gym, hitting like a split that helps you build muscle. But I would say that's, not the general population. The general population is just kind of looking to be healthy, fit, strong, and have endurance. So that's pretty much what hybrid training is. It's combining the strength training with the cardio. But I've seen people gain muscle. I've seen people grow. I've seen people who have maybe traditionally in the past done normal weightlifting and then done sets for a year and then go back and do an exercise like a deadlift or a bench press with a bar that they haven't done in a while, because it's not some stuff that we do. We'll do dumbbell bench press and we do deadlift, but let's just use barbell bench press as an example. They'll go back and do that, and they're either lifting the same amount that they were lifting before they started sets, or even more. So I definitely think that's like a major misconception. I also think that a common misconception is that this is more for females. But obviously, like, all four of our coaches are guys. I would love to have a female trainer again. We used to. I just, going back to like our coaches conversation, I think a small team is a benefit to us. So but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think just naturally, I think guys they think I don't need to be told what to do, and they'll just kind of stick with their traditional training. But I think that's another major misconception, or maybe it's too hard. Some people, not so much men, but just in general, some people will think it's too hard, which again brings us back to every workout is scalable, and it's really your workout at your pace. Some people might think it's too easy, but obviously we both know that's definitely not true. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it really is a great way to train. I used to just do your traditional lifting until before I found sets, and since then it's been a blend. Nowadays, it's definitely pretty much all sets, but obviously I have access to do whatever I want in here whenever I want. But I still love to take classes. Not as I don't have as much time as I would like to take classes, but I definitely try to take a class at least twice a week. Every Monday. I'm here all day, so I definitely jump in that 4:30 class when I can. But overall, yeah, it's a good way to train. And hybrid training is kind of the new, again, with high rocks and stuff. It's kind of like the new thing. And it's funny that SETS hybrid training for the past like 10 years or so, really. Obviously way before I've been here in Murfreesboro. But again, it's a great way to just be healthy, get strong, keep up with your kids, your grandkids, not feel out of breath when you're carrying groceries or anything like that. And I think that's like the really important thing about fitness is it doesn't always have to be, you looking like, Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody who's like an Instagram fitness influencer. It's really just about yourself feeling good and progressing and staying physically and mentally fit. So
Definitely, definitely. If someone's looking to try out a SETS class, get a hold of you guys, has any more questions that they want to ask, what's the best way to get a hold of you, come try out a class? What's that process look like?
yeah, I mean, so honestly, I would say the best way is just to reach out, via phone, or text. Text is probably the best, just because it's myself and then Coach William who are on that number. So one of us is going to like be immediate to get back to you. But you can find us on Instagram, sets_Murfreesboro. You can find us on Facebook, Sets Murfreesboro. Our website is setsbuilt.com. And again, just phone is probably like the best way. But we have our own app, so you can download that, and that's if you kind of want to just like jump in, not talk to anybody, which I don't recommend, because what we'll do is like if you reach out, we'll try to set up like a quick 5 or 10 minute phone call just to get a background and answer questions, explain what to expect in a session, and what that first class will look like. We like to hear injuries and prior exercise experience. Make sure like the distance and class times and all that stuff works for you. So it's definitely good to just hop on a phone call. So I would say that's the best thing to do is just reach out to our phone number, and then we can go from there. We'll take care of you. By the end of that phone call, we'll have you fully set up with the app and everything there. But I would say that's the best way to go about it for sure.
Awesome. Well, we're going to put all of your information down below. So if anyone watching wants to check out the website, check out the Instagram, we'll leave the phone number down below too. You'll have easy access to all of that. Kevin, I always ask my guests as the last question, what's your favorite local borough business other than your own? I know we've got some great ones in the area. What's your favorite small business in the area?
Yeah, I would say I'm probably have to go with my barber,
Okay.
Elvis's barbershop. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yeah,
Elvis's barbershop. He
definitely.
knows a lot of people in the cheerleading world. But yeah, I'll go with Elvis. Honestly, I'm kind of like a little picky with my haircuts. Probably over the last 15 years, I might have had 5 people like cut my hair more than once, right? Like if I'm gonna pinch, different barbers. But yeah, when I moved down here, I was obviously had to find a new barber, and went to a place in Franklin a couple of times. It was okay, and I started to try some places in Murfreesboro, whatever. And then I came across Elvis's barbershop, tried him out, and it's just he's a great guy.
Hmm.
He's also a member of the gym, but he does like a phenomenal job. His barbershop is clean. You know what I mean? There's it's easy to book. You right on the website. You just book it. But yeah, I'll have to go with Elvis's barbershop.
Nice, nice. Well, shout out to Elvis's barbershop as well.
I
Um,
can't say you, so
I
I
know,
feel like
I
if
know,
I
I
if I
know.
mention you, it would be unfair. So that's why I have to go with.
That would be very unfair. Well, Kevin, thanks so much for joining us today. If you guys have any questions about sets, want more information, we'll leave all of the website and everything down below. And thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. This was great.